Okay, we're back. And things are not awful. Mostly. They're mostly not awful. This is... what's the controls on this? This will prevent more liquid from being introduced. Or rather, it will allow more liquid introduced if this is below 10 kilo of water on the floor and the pressure is below 2,000 grams of steam, more water can be brought in. This, if the pressure is above 10,000 grams of steam, then this pump can be activated and it will pump out the steam. That's all we need to do in here. We can now safely wall this place back off again. Right. Are there any other big things? Oh, it helps if my fingers are on the home keys. Are there any other big things we need to worry about right now? I mean, we've got this tiny little... power blueprint up here, which I do think is quite solid, but it would be very helpful if I had more room. And it would be very helpful if this transformer wasn't getting roasted. One way I could achieve that is by walling all of this off and dry walling it so that this could have the base's atmosphere. It's definitely an option. I would need to relocate my shovel setup, but honestly that wouldn't be a bad thing because all of the regolith now is cooled, so I could just have the shovels be fed in here. In fact, I think that's what I was doing with this. I think I was preparing to bring the shovels inside. What would be the best place for... Or alternatively, I could do that over here, I suppose. And I can do that relatively easily over here, too. Because if I do that, and then wall that off, and then dig out in this direction, it's all sand, so it'll just collapse, and I'll have an atmosphere. Yes, I think that's what we're going to do. That way... This won't have to be as visible all the time. In fact, I could even run it through the igneous rock so it didn't transfer heat at all. But it's a little bit... I don't know. We'd still need the regolith produced down here and then brought back out. Which is happening over at this point. So that regolith could come up there and then we could have... the shovels internally housed in this area. I think that does make sense. And if we line it up with this floor, that would also work. Okay, we've got a little bit of work ahead of us, but the ultimate goal is to unify the positioning of our bunker tiles at the top here. We're going to replace more or less everything going across here with solar panels, scanners, so on and so forth. All the way across to our rocket ships. Stress is still quite high. Oh, dear me. Why are the buddy buds down? What is their growth temperature? 20 to 40. It's just a little bit too cold now. Yeah, there was going to be a problem if I turned this on a little bit too high. Let's pop that back to 30 then. If it goes above 30, it'll get pulled down, but otherwise it won't matter. Right. Let's speed up time, see if stress levels decline. Shelley, I don't know where you are, but I'm very hopeful. Oh, that's James. Break starts at 50, ends at 0. Over here, 20, ends at 0. So the two of you together should start getting sorted. There we are. Gradually getting better. It'll take a while, but it's fine. I don't mind if they need a bit of downtime there. Shelley especially seems to have troubles with stress. I wonder why that is. It makes me a little sad. But along here, we're going to have a new, probably solar panel. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 5. We will need bunker tiles. There's the pipes we're getting expected from a 2K cycle base. Which part? Let me zoom right out for you. The pipe spaghetti is everywhere. Depends if it's part of any of my my projects. Because if so, pipe spaghetti. Pipe overlay. This is the pipe overlay. Thank you so much, Sheelab. So this is my cooling loop down there. This is my habitat. This is my habitat. This was my original like storage for petroleum, polluted water, and refinement of water. Some of the pipes are kind of throwbacks from the cooling design I had in here, which was a bit of a nutty one. This is my where I was learning how to do oil refining. This is how I dealt with heat for the longest time in this base, by submerging it in the water, the melt water from my from the ice biome, which I think was inhabiting this area, or was it this one? One or the other. Don't. How are we doing water-wise, by the way? We seem to be doing generally okay. Might actually be worthwhile me having a reservoir over here as well. That probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Having a little reservoir to stow the water before moving it out. As that would allow the water to equalize in the reservoir, and then it would always be coming out the same... Actually, that's a really good idea. Do I want that in here, though? I think I do. One thing I really wish was that you could flip reservoirs. It's such a simple thing, but I wish you could flip a reservoir so that its outputs and inputs were on the opposite sides. I don't know if I'm the only one that really, really wishes that was a thing, but wow, would that be good. If I could just have the input be on this side and the output be on that side, or it's the same for gas reservoirs, sorry, I was going to say as well. I can't flip them. And I just wish I could just mirror where the inputs were, even if the building design didn't change. My lord. What I wouldn't give. Like if Klei came out, yeah, we've got a Kickstarter, we need 100,000. And it's like, I'll throw in a couple of quid. If we all throw in a couple of quid, let's just forget that this is atrocious. This is basically holding features prisoner, the scallywags, but I'm not gonna lie. I would 100% like, yeah, no, I'll throw in a fiver. Sure, I'm in. Same with pumps, yeah. It's such a stupid thing, but I would actually give money for this feature. That's great that there is a mod for it, though. I'll be honest. I love it when I think it's very sensible for game developers to embrace a modding community, to embrace a modding culture. As much as I dislike the idea that they rely on modders to fix problems in the code. Because you do see that sometimes. I can't think of any particular examples right now, and I'm not sure I really want to go into it. But there are some quite notable examples where the code has been maintained more or less. Like the game is basically a rough idea, and modders make the game into the popular game that it becomes. And they basically do it for free. You know, it's like unpaid intern levels of scallywaggery at that point. Not all companies do it intentionally, but there are at least a few that do. I've got to be very careful about which toes I step on when I start talking about these sorts of topics, given my job. But yeah. Now, as for the shovels... I'd kind of like a shovel breeding pen, I think. Where they're actively bred. Sorry, I was coexisting on like a video phone call with someone. And they just had to leave. So they just flagged me down. Right. Okay. Let's see. I would like a shovel breeding area. Now, the beautiful thing with shovels is they don't ever feel cramped. They don't ever feel cramped. Let me bring up the info on shovels. Comfortable range, livable range, diet... 4,800 kilos a cycle, 2,400 kilos. Basically, they halve the amount of regolith that goes in there. They can also live on dirt. They can also live on iron ore, interestingly enough. I didn't know that. But it doesn't really give me a good idea of how old they can get. 100. Okay, so that's... One could probably get quite a few. Alright. Whichever room I have it in, I'm going to need the robo-miner to deal with the food. So, let's have a quick think of this. I'm going to want a grooming station in here. I'm not going to need much besides. Ah, now this actually another problem with the shovel is that they can break free, and should they do that, it's generally a bad thing. So let's cancel this for a second. Now I should be able to replace this with obsidian. Yeah, we've got loads of obsidian. Then we're going to want either pneumatic doors. Honestly, pneumatic doors would be the best one. I'll just use steel. I'm not sure that this is going to be the dimensions of the room yet, because in this instance, it doesn't actually matter how small the room is, as long as it counts as a farm. Sorry, a ranch. Where's a stable rather? It's 12 tiles is the minimum. So it's however much I need in that space. A critter feeder. We are going to want an incubator. And honestly, that's basically all we need. There should always be one egg being incubated in this ranch. The auto sweeper should be able to reach everything in there. Yes, perfect. My memory did not fail me. I'm very glad. This can exist. Sure, we can pop it there. I would like a conveyor receptacle delivering regolith in, and a conveyor loader taking everything else out. Ah, but there's one last piece of this puzzle that I've not fit into this space. I require 2 extra things, actually. One of them is a critter drop-off, which I could have. Okay, if we narrow this down just ever so slightly, I can probably make it work a little bit better. We could have critter drop-off here. We could have the critter feeder next to the... Well... See, the problem is, wherever I put it, I want a robo-miner to be able to reach it. Ah, the robo-miner is amazing. It's got such good range. It'll vex me that it's a little bit offset, but still, this won't be the worst. Could have one up there. Yeah, that actually works out okay. I'm going to make this more symmetrical, so it pleases me. Cancel that. I will also have a storage... Oh, do I need a storage bin? Yeah, I kind of do. Storage bin for regolith, so I've got a fair amount stored in here. I will have a conveyor receptacle. I can have that here, and the conveyor loader can also be here. And the robo-miner can live there and can reach everything in this space. Then we need to go back to obsidian. There we go. That gives us our room. At this point, we can actually move that back up then, in that case. And this will be our shovel ranch. We will have fresh regolith delivered, but not dropped. That will be loaded into the storage bin. Well, actually, do I even need that? I don't. No, we'll get rid of that. I can have the critter feed. And since this shovel I actually want to farm, sure, we can feed it twice. We can have 2 feeders in there. I'm happy for it to eat as much regolith as it wants. It's going to be the only one that does. Shut up. I totally never do anything bad to animals in this game. I don't know what you're talking about. They're happy. Have any of them told you that they're not? Well, then I rest my case. We could... See, having more shovels allows them to produce more eggs. These ones produce so many eggs because they are generally happy because we actually go in there and they groom them. Actually, glum there, it will produce... What is that? Oh, it's because that one's starving. Yeah. Lovely thing to catch, just streaming. Great, while packing. I'm glad, Pinky Puppet. Very glad. The ones that complain get transferred to the kitchen. Yes. We'll bring that together. Actually, we'll have these 2 tiles still be obsidian just in case. But I'm trying to decide what we do with the shovel eggs. We can just move the shovel eggs up here and just leave them in there. But the beautiful thing about this is that they produce very large populations this way. This is how you can sustain a huge population, because they don't care about being cramped. That's the chief bonus of a shovel, is that it doesn't care about being in an enclosed space. Actually, let's rotate these around so that they're in slightly different position. Let's grab a conveyor receptacle. Right. If we feed the shovels in the the dumping chamber, then they will consequently drop large piles of regolith. Like tiles of regolith. So we would have to have a robo-miner in there. I'd rather not have to have a robo-miner in there. We could just have more shovels in this space, I guess. There's nothing that prevents that. Let's cancel these two just so I can see. Yeah, this is exactly as wide as it can be. So this is as big of a space as we can make it for them. They will run up and down around these walls, round and round and round. The only big worry about this room is that if they did, for any reason, get out, I will never be able to track it back down again. I feel like this needs to be like a magneto-proof chamber, you know, just kind of suspended plastic cables everywhere. But the alternative is that you just dump the eggs in here and just... I could just have a couple of them running around and only one egg is ever incubated until this room reaches a certain amount of shovels. And then any further eggs are sent up. It's going to be so bad. If I did this, Chad, I don't think my soul could recover from this one. Look, as much as I talk a mean game, it's like, we're gonna evolve them into meat. There is a part of me that's like, look, I eat meat. I do in real life. That's a choice in lots of ways. But I don't need to revel in the suffering of my food. Putting them in this tiny little box, I could put a shovel in here. I'd have this would be absolutely possible to contain a bajillion shovels. I'd have a conveyor loader, conveyor loader here, a sweeper there, and a conveyor rail dump right there. There we go. That's all I need. The eggs get dropped in here. Eventually they mature into shovels. Eventually they starve. The eggshell and the shovel meat gets pumped back out. I can't do that. I'm actually incapable. It makes me feel too bad. I refuse. I want them to die reasonably soon. I could drown them, but I dislike that as well. The idea of drowning the pups. No, I can't. They're called pups as well. That makes it even worse. I could have a robo-miner in there and just an occasional feeder, very low amount of food, and, you know, just allow the population to skyrocket in there. Gladiator ring with poke shells. Wow. We need to start ranching poke shells, to be fair. The thing is, again, over here, they hatch lots of eggs just because they're generally happy. We're about to ruin that. I want plastic ladders because I can easily afford it. All the way up, please. We will have a conveyor chute. Middle of the room. Conveyor loader. Bottom of the room. Auto sweeper. Right there. It's exactly the same width, so it'll work. That needs to be steel. Good. Is all of this obsidian? Because if any of it is not, then this causes a problem. Alright. I mean, I say I don't I like being mean to my food, but what about spider slaughter? What about Normoria? What was I doing to the goblins? That's right, I was sticking them in a gladiatorial ring and then having my marksman snipers train up their marksmanship on them. And then I would eat the goblin sandwiches. So really, am I any better than anyone else? No, I am not. I am a scallywag. I just resist it. What's worse is some of the goblins that I turned into sandwiches I would send back to the Goblin Kingdom to provoke them to send more goblins at me in a war that would only end with more goblin sandwiches. I was truly the most scallywaggy of scallywags. There's a special place in hell that was reserved for me. Oh, actually. Danger, danger, Will Robinson, danger. Let's get that built quickly. I'm sorry, someone has to go out there into the meteor shower. Just try not to get hit, I guess. I'm very sorry that you didn't get this job done sooner so that I wouldn't have to order you to your potential death. But, you know, mistakes were made. I super still need this done. I have no idea what you're referencing, but I'm so proud. No more is one of the first Let's Plays that I ever done on my ever did on my main YouTube channel. Seeker. You mad lad, you. Look, not even dodging. Perfect, wonderful, amazing. Recently got back into Arnie myself. Glad to see the first stream I've caught in ages is this great game. Oh, I'm really glad, Failure. If you ever make a game mod, please include Goblin Sammies. Those were some tasty and beloved days. Maybe one day we'll jump into some more. Maybe I could even do just a special jump back into the series for a little bit. It's like, hey, you know, so, yeah. Felt like a change. Right, we're going to need to get all the way down here. Like so. Also rebuild this. Actually, probably won't need to do... Well, kind of still will, in fact. We need to carve that back down slowly. Alright. Let's have a look at the star map. What else was there to find? I don't think there was anything more. It's time for us to set this as our next destination. Who's got stress? James and Shelley, actually, a little bit. Okay, Shelley. Please go be an astronaut. We've managed to completely vacuum out all of the good bits in this room. None more needed. And off you go! I love that this is all automated now. That makes me so happy. So ridiculously happy. There we go. And there we are. I love the automation there. I'm so pleased with that. Closing up the doors. Got another impact event about to happen, it looks like. Right, we actually need to burrow through all of this first. Because I'm guessing that's going to be way too hot. I guess another thing I could do is if I really wanted to save on liquid, like I wasn't using like tiny amounts of water for this. In fact, I can probably pull that even down to 25 grams each. I wasn't using absolutely minuscule amounts of liquid here. I could probably comfortably turn these off whenever the doors were closed. I could absolutely do that. Or I could just stop cooling them. Because there's no point in having these active if it's impossible for anything to fall down. In fact, I could go even further and only allow liquid to be deposited for a short time after the doors initially open. Oh dear. Oh. Okay, that's a problem. This is why we want another one in there. The left side of the rock is way too close to the opening for my anxiety to handle. There's really nothing I can do because, you know, if I moved it to the right, then the right side would be exactly as close. Sorry about that, and I do agree. It's kind of frustrating, but tis what tis. Copper, sure. Don't really need it. We've got a copper volcano, but I won't say no to it. Alright, I'm going to start putting priorities of 7 on jobs inside the base once again. I would like this to be taken out as a priority 7. The moment this is done, we can disable this whole room. There we go. Now, down here, we're going to want this to continue a little bit. I think at that stage we can close this room off. Now, will the pressure be too much? That's actually a really good question. Will the pressure be too much if this is full of water? I could do the cheesy thing and have airflow tiles at the bottom, but I'm not really big on that. One thing I could do, however, metal tiles. Actual metal tiles. That won't reduce the pressure on this side, but I think that is what it is really at that point. I could double up the insulation, I suppose. That would be fine. I could double up the insulation on this side, though, by the same token. To be fair, there are some places where I'm going to want these metal tiles. Simply to... Oh, actually, we want the metal tiles here instead. The reason why we want that is to encourage transfer of heat along that area. Yeah, I'm just going to bring that straight down here. Because effectively, I would like to have high volume, good specific heat capacity materials. The water is great. It'll be 1,000 kilos of stuff, but 400 kilos of a metal is probably still better. Is how I'm thinking about that. Go for the it's not going to be perfectly symmetrical no matter what I do, and that's just the way it's going to be, unfortunately. You can do that, and I can have an extra layer of insulation at the bottom where the pressure is going to be the highest. Gromlin, thank you very much for the subscription, mate. Diolch yn fawr. Right, in terms of these pipes, I'm going to want tungsten radiant pipes in many of these locations. I'm going to want a liquid pipe bridge of granite. More tungsten radiant pipes, at least here, 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 and here, and here. And then just sandstone, I guess. There we go. That should allow the coolant loops to properly chill anything in here. It also gives me room to place down... can I not? Oh, I can't have this out of tungsten, really? That's kind of annoying. Well then. I will have steel radiant gas pipes at these locations. But otherwise, just sandstone pipes. I'm not going to put metal in here. I'm just going to have the metal down the sides. I guess I could do away with the metal right here, honestly. That liquid pipe might just have to be radiant pipe moving through. Yeah, we'll cancel the build on that metal tile. We'll cancel the build on this metal tile. And the same for these two, I suppose. Yeah. The liquid pipes from the... bringing in the fresh water. We'll just have to use radiant pipes in a few strategic places to pull the chill out of the water that's in here. Oh, good night, Gromlin. Good luck with your central air and slaughterhouse. I gotta head to bed. You take care, mate. Thanks for dropping by. It was a pleasure having you in the stream tonight. And let's head up here. Tunk. There we are. Oh, we still need to fix this up, actually. Just make sure that everything is connected the way it's meant to be. And it looks to be so far. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, I think so. So that does not cause any issue down here. That does, though. That very much causes issue down here. Because this hasn't got anywhere to go. No, we're actually going to need to remove that simply because of the direction of flow of the clean water. That's fine. Right, all of these 7s and all of these 7s as well. Let's start getting all of this cleaned up. It is high time. Once all of this is built, I will add in an extra layer of insulation on the outside, simply to allow me to prevent the pressure difference here, and then to just line this up with it at the bottom. Right, let's go and have a look how things are going over here. They're not really going at all. Very well. Makes sense. Sand. And we'll do exactly the same thing down here again. Pop you in, and then we'll hook that up to power. Oh my lord. I will, though, go ahead and shut down the cooling, as I mentioned. There's no point in cooling them when they can't actually get hot. But this is definitely why we need a sheltered one at the far side. Perhaps from some sort of secure location so they can daisy chain along, effectively. Each one clearing up the next. Though the odds of every single robo-miner across the entire breadth of the map all shutting down at the same time, very, very slight, I should imagine. We've still got 2.6 cycles to get there and back. Things coming along quite well over here. Nice. Absolutely fabulous base. I love how close you have it operating to the surface for efficiency, and a lot of advanced techniques I see employed. I don't properly use myself, like the cooling tech with gases. The only thing that annoys me is bottom-mounted dig lasers on the surface. I can't stand when they get blocked by fall debris as the gates open. Instead, I prefer to have them hang on the doors that open so it falls under them. Although the logic and cooling setup is complex. Took me forever. That is actually a really, really clever idea. I hadn't thought about that, but of course, doors are physical walls that just have an aperture that can sometimes be open. And some people use designs, from what I understand, where they will open or close a door to basically disable a building, because the building can't open when it's not stood on something. So if you make a door and then you build, like, for example, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something that works. Let's think. I guess a light might work. Research, maybe even transformers would also function this way. Reservoirs, yeah. So you could have something there, and then you open the door up, and then it can't work anymore. So it effectively shuts it down, but just by opening the door. Kind of an interesting one. Terrakittens, thank you very much for the 12 months. A year of dapperness. Here's to many more. Thank you. I hope you've had a wonderful day so far.